Oh, good.
I'm here with Jeff.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Happy
So,
to see you again.
thank you for yesterday for being my paparazzi.
No
He
problem.
was my paparazzi yesterday.
I get to sneak in and take some photos and see how everyone was enjoying your session.
So, what do we have here?
Well, we have a variety of lithium products.
I got a question because I've been seeing this lately. I've been seeing batteries with Bluetooth.
Yes.
Is that a thing here?
It is, yes. So all of these actually have Bluetooth, and it's used actually to connect to an app that you would put on your phone, so you can actually see the state of charge information, any type of error indication. So let's say the battery shuts off because of some operating condition, then you can actually connect to it and see information about what's going on inside. And it's shared by a Bluetooth connection.
Because I saw it and I was like, why would I want a Bluetooth? Because I know that most batteries connect into an inverter ecosystem using CANbus or RS485.
Yep. So you can do that.
Do they still do that in addition to
They
Bluetooth?
do that in addition. Yeah. So so these units actually do connect directly to the inverter. And so they use either a CAN or RS485 connection.
Yeah.
And it basically would be set up in what's closed loop communication. Now, lithium batteries are also available in like a standalone battery.
Yeah.
These have Bluetooth, but they don't connect to an inverter with a physical connection.
Okay.
So they don't have that port. So this information basically is only brought out of the battery via Bluetooth.
So when you're connecting these into an ecosystem of an inverter, a hybrid inverter, and you can't communicate to them, do you have to read them as if they're a lead acid or an AGM battery off of voltage?
It's treated in the same way, yeah. It's a little bit more accurate because you're putting the information in, sizing the system and configuring that inverter to let it know what the size of the battery bank is and what, the system. And because the BMS in each one of those batteries is managing the charge, it's done more efficiently. But the inverter treats that as storage in the same way that it would if you're using one of our lead or AGM battery. Like
those things are heavy though.
They're the other batteries are heavy. These ones are not.
No, these are, because I just touched it. I was like, I think I'm going to damage something.
Yeah. But these units would be, this one here, this is our new stackable unit. This would be used primarily for like a residential storage application where you would want to have it connected to an inverter, set up in closed loop communication.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that way, if you're doing like remote monitoring in the system, if that inverter has remote monitoring capability, all that information from the battery bank is being fed through. So you're going to see whether or not there's an issue with your storage because it's all being communicated to the inverter.
Now you have a rack mount series down here.
We do have a rack mount as well. And this unit is a 4U height rack mount, 19-inch standard racking. You can do up to 16 of these in parallel. So you can do.
What is an individual battery capacity?
So each one of these units is 51.2 volts nominal.
Okay.
So so these are essentially building blocks. So if you're building a system, you're going to do, say, a 48 volt system. You can use these units. These are each 100 amp hours of capacity. And then you can put them in parallel to build a much larger system. So if you wanted to do up to 80 kilowatt hours of storage, you could do that with the rack mount. And essentially you're just connecting them all in parallel.
I got a question about this. So if I have, how many did you say?
So you can do up to 16 of these.
So if I had a rack of 16 of these, parallel is positive to negative, positive to negative, up to 16. Would I take my output off that last, or would I stagger them from top to bottom?
So generally, the way that it's done with these is you have all of the connections running to a combiner, and then you have your positive and negatives running off of the combiner to the inverter so that it's more evenly distributed.
Okay.
So each one of those would have connecting cables that are of the same length running to the combiner plate and set up that way. Bus bars as well is a better option. We actually did bus bars on the back of this unit. So as you stack, the bus bars come with it. And so you can see here on the back, all of the,
that's nice.
Yeah, so all of the bus bars are on this side and they're all included. So
it's cool you have marked red and black too.
So they're 200 amp rated bus bars. So you can actually do 400 amp charge and discharge.
Oh,
Once you do 5 units or more,
yeah.
then you're essentially going to be able to put a much, much higher charge and discharge on these than most of the competitors' products in a stackable or rack mount option.
And these are pretty much agnostic to inverter
Exactly,
topologies and things
so,
of that nature.
so this, in order to be able to use these in residential storage, they have to have UL9540 and 9540A.
Boom! 9540, 9540A.
The product has to be tested to obviously pass and to be certified to be able to be used in residential applications.
Yeah.
In edition 3 of 9540, they took away the requirement to pair the battery with a particular inverter.
Oh,
So you don't test it with one particular make and model.
you test it to a standard.
To the standard. So this is tested to edition 3, which is the DC ESS pathway, which essentially means that any hybrid inverter that's UL1741 certified will be compatible. And this has been designed basically to work with those protocols to be able to connect with most of the major leading
And
hybrid inverters.
these are pretty too.
Yeah, it's great. It's, really, it's all our design. Everything, inside has been structured. We've designed it as well to be serviceable. So on the rear of the units,
On not the here, but on the rear of that unit.
and all of the components that you need to set it up are included. The other thing I mentioned before about the Bluetooth and setting up and being able to view the status of the batteries.
Yeah.
When you're configuring this stack, if let's say you're setting it up with a solar converter, for example, you can actually go in via the app and program the protocol
Or the
inverter directly into the batteries and do it with your phone while you're on site. So we designed that so that installers have easy access to be able to do that.
Well, does that Bluetooth? No, I can't answer that question because you think Bluetooth and you think connectivities, but one of the things that people are really looking forward to is being able to monitor from afar remotely.
Yes.
But you would do that through your inverter system.
It's the communication is coming from the inverter. Yeah. Okay. So if you want any type of remote monitoring, that's not being done direct from the battery. It's all that information is being fed through to the inverter. It's just a much more efficient way of doing it because the inverters have been designed to do that remote monitoring. They often have a mobile platform. This basically is just complementing that. So,
all right. So these are usually for people with the cabins up in Michigan.
Exactly. Yep.
This is for the bougie person like me who likes to hang at home. And that one's for my garage where I have
exactly. Yeah.
So they have a solution for just about every
and we still
energy type.
Yeah, and we're still building our traditional flooded and our AGM batteries that are used in renewable applications.
And they use them in marine and other.
Yep. So those products are still being used in residential applications. You can certainly still use flooded batteries if you like. There are a lot of customers that have stuck with that technology because it's cheap and it's recyclable and they know how to take care of them, so they get a long life.
Yeah, that's the thing. Knowing how to take care because a lot of them. If
you're willing to do the maintenance, then you get a lot of life out of it. So,
well, I want to thank you so much.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Great. Awesome. It was great.
This is Emmitt at InterSolar 2026.